I guess they will just be going out with the regular draft and mostly be prioritizing the flex picks as their first early priority picks.
Yep, the flex pick. I think for the teams up, most of the time it's for the top teams. It's gonna be very important who have the red side and who have the blue side, and as we can see on the screen right now, they want to have the first pick, so maybe they can try to prioritize on shutting down the jungle for the side of their terrace, which is just what teams usually do, right? Johan, they don't usually go for the Fanny bans, but we cannot forget that this is Joseph Fanny. He is so good on this hero. He can try to be, he can use it even without there are so many counters onto his side. But then again, Johan does have the possibility to go for the utility jungle most of the time, which made Fanny irrelevant. So there's no saying what they're gonna go for here. Okay, the chip, a valid choice for them because chip has been popping quite a lot this meta just because of his ways to try to go into the shortcuts, into the portals without standing on one from anywhere, right?
And you know what, Debbie? It's not just
Mhm.
uh, the chip; it's also the Kimmy out here. And I feel like Itami also agrees with me on that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, flex pick actually. So Kimi, she can be going on onto the gold as well as on it actually because of the magic damage. And after the revamp, she has been getting that spotlight that she actually deserved. So before we barely even saw Kimi onto the tournament scene as well as onto the rank scene. Her pick rate was quite low. But right now, she is either a priority. If she is open, then definitely a priority because it's not just the hero. She can be going out as a flex, so you never know whether she will be taking up the gold or the mid lane. And Kalea is getting banned out. So mostly the Roma EXP laners, let's say, Kalea could have been going on onto the Rome as well as on EXP, but for this game, it's banned out.
Yeah.
And you know
You
what,
know,
Debbie?
yeah.
There has been a lot more new flex picks onto the table right now. This with the Bagzia being added to as well. So I
Mhm.
think there's so much on the table, isn't it?
Yeah, that's actually true. And Johan sticking to their original plan. I've never ever seen Johan not banning the Hayabusa. So I think this is just their way. It's just Johan. If you see Johan, always be sure that the Hayabusa is gonna go into the banning phase. But then again, like you mentioned, the Baxia, right? Tartarus has to take the Baxia away. And something I would like to say about the Kimi as well is that for the side of Tartarus, they can put in into the goal as well as the mid lane, right? But Johan, I have never seen Faden onto the Kimi. It's mostly into the hands of the of Prime. So maybe it's they can be the one actually banning it out.
Hmm.
Actually, can be possible. Yeah, Shinru.
Could be the case, but I feel uh, they might be onto something, right? If they are letting it open, if they're letting it for free, there might be some kind of game plan against that Fanny, and I feel they are already expecting it because they're facing against Joseph, right? And I
Yeah.
think they know what is coming for them.
Okay, looks like the draft, like the first phase of the ban is over, and they are kind of targeting out the jungle bans, let's say, because the Lucas as well as the Bakshia is banned out, and Bakshia, she is mostly prioritized, and Team Zohunt, we already know they like relying on that utility, so it is quite understandable. But even if you miss out, like you are not banning out the Fanny quite early, they might not just prioritize it quite early, and the Kimi as Shinju was mentioning that Kimi can be picked out if not onto the ban scene. So apparently it is happening. They are not giving Tartarus the Kimi out, and maybe it might be Prime onto the gold lane with the Kimi, or maybe it might be Faden onto that Kimi. But uh, as Debbie said, we haven't seen Faden quite much onto the Kimi. So let's see.
It's gonna be
Hmm.
interesting because I think Kimi is a Solid's first pick, right? But then again, there are so many assassins. But yeah, she is a marksman slash mage, so always gonna be vulnerable to any kind of assassins that Tartarus can pull out. But not first pick worthy enough for Tartarus. So I think they won't be trying to counter this Kimi so very early. Maybe they can prioritize another hero. But look at that, it's gonna be a D. Oh, okay. Moskov and the Versa. So better range into the mid lane and a late game potential for the gold side for the squad Tartarus.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel the Kimmy kind of lacks in terms of range, right? She has the damage, she
Yeah.
has the potential to scale pretty good in the late game, but range is something that she kind of lacks, and I think the Farsa really does so well in terms of that. And the Moskov can really maneuver really fast along, the map because of his ultimate, and definitely he can reposition himself quite fast with the first skill, right? The dash and Kimmy's basic attack. And we just, avoid it in terms if it's just a 1v1 onto the goal lane, but I feel this might be a mid lane. This might not a mid lane, it's actually a goal
Oh,
lane Kimmy
Gold
because
lane.
they have a Selena as well, so a good start, I would say.
good start.
Comfort wise, yeah, looks like more of they are relying onto their comfort like they do always. And apparently it is the Kimi onto the gold lane, as Shindu mentioned. So Faden will be onto that. Selena, the early game pokes, against that Farsa, if she is able
Yeah.
to land out the abyssal arrow, then early game wise it can be giving out the advantage that the Selena needs. But if Eden he is able to position himself well, then catching that Farsa won't be quite easy. And Moskov, he already has the mobility because of his S1. So,
Yeah.
he needs to be really accurate in terms of those abyssal arrows.
Yeah, that's true because Farsa is an immobile mate when she's ulting without a flicker. So I think it's a really good choice for the Selena to be picked up by Johan, and that means that Prime is gonna be using out the Fanny. But then again, we have for Tartarus they locked out onto the XP laner here. The glue is safely picked away because the Selena is definitely gonna go into the mid lane here. So right now Tartarus banning away the Gatot Kata, so no more they're just trying to lessen down the threat potential for their first star here for Eden. So I think it's very understandable why they ban away the Gatot Kacha. But then again, for Johan, right? I think they do also have a pressure into their Roamer, who is so good on pick off heroes like the Franco has been using that quite a lot, like the Cho for family problem here. So I think Tartarus has to be also careful on what kind of heroes they choose, what kind of poison they are gonna be picking. But same also goes for the side of Johan. They're gonna be banning away the Hylos. Huh? Do you think it's a good choice here?
I would have preferred, the Garut Kacha over the Selena out here, to be honest, because we would
Yeah.
have much more potential into the second phase, right? But knowing
Mm-hmm.
that the Selena and the Garut Kacha being banned, so I feel the lack of frontliners or even a person who can actually go in and cancel the Farsa's ult kind of gets minimalized because there's no potential people who can actually go in because Fredrin cannot do that. There's the only probability would be the stun from the Selena, right? And if it does
Mm.
not connect, it might be very difficult to do so. And given the fact that they have a glue, it's going to be really tough time dealing with that hero without a Vexana, without a Faramis, right? Because you know how much
Mm.
of a annoyance that hero could be in the current meta, and the Chow, another pick of hero being banned. So a lot of target being, you know, onto the rumor, onto the EXP lane as well. So I
Mm.
feel what does this leave open here, Itami?
Yeah, as you mentioned that for the initiation, unless the Selena, if she lands the abyssal arrow, that's the only starting call for the side of your team to be initiating a team fight.
Yeah.
Except for the Selena, maybe if they went out for the Gatot, initiation wise, he would have just used out the AOG and directly initiated a team fight, but that won't be happening. So the initiations will be completely relying on how well Phaeton will be able to land up that. And here you go. We actually already mentioned out onto the first phase of the banning phase that the Fanny is still open. And I guess Joseph
Yeah.
was just waiting for the right opportunity to be picking out the Fanny because I don't see that kind of a crowd control, kind of a roamer coming up from the side of Team Zohunt anytime soon. And
Mm.
unless Fredrin gets his defense items on time, he might be quite fragile when early game wise, Fanny has a lot of, and considering it is Joseph, he will be having a lot of mobility and he can just go in and initiate the team fights as well as maybe get a kill onto that Fredrin. So you never know.
Yeah, I think the Franco will come through here for the side of Johan, and there we go. You don't have the turn, it's gonna be picked up
Yeah.
Franco directly, but Win here, still sticking to his original plan, trying to go for the Masha. Nothing new for this guy. He loves the Hilda and the Masha. So especially, so he just won the Masha this time around. Unkillable hero that she is. But then again, I think I have mentioned before, Johan doesn't really ban the Fanny because they know that they will be able to counter it. But this is also a Fanny. We cannot outread this guy, so we'll never know what he can do in this game. But the last pick is already gonna be up. One thing I'm really liking about the Moscow pick here is
Oh,
that they have a late game control, right? And like you mentioned, Itami, the Spirit of Misery will be there just to try to stun away, drone away the potential threat coming out from him. And the fact that Moscow is kind of a marksman who can go also for the Purify as well as the Flicker, it's gonna be a double threat. But look at the last pick coming through, the Tigre. What do you think about this, Sinryu?
I was kind of expecting the not Shinryu, but actually the Tigreal, right?
Okay,
So
it
yeah,
is in
yeah,
there.
hey, hey, cut me some slack on that. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
I was kind of expecting the Tigreal because it's a classic combo with the Farsa, right? You get that
Mhm.
implosion and the Farsa can just free hit, and even the Moskov can get that SOD onto the right spot, right? He can just get into the team fight instantaneously because if the enemies are immobile, then it's pretty easy to hit your target, right? And
Yeah.
Fanny can pretty easily just go in and can also cancel the Franco's ult. So I think that's such a good option to go for. But right into the game we go here, Itami.
yep. And
And
this will be the first game of this, the second match actually, the first game, and it will be Team Zohan going up against Team Tartar. Oh
What?
my God, the first blood already being drawn, and I'll just pass it to the casters.
Yep.
yeah, definitely.
First blood. Interesting take, Silvio, because this is a Franco. He's just trying to, what was he doing actually? What are you doing, my dude?
Mhm.
He was just trying to get a hook, or maybe just trying to, disrupt the buff taken by Joseph here. And I think it really didn't work out mid lane though.
Oh, the pressure already. You can see the HP being chunked low, and Fanny trying to take advantage of the low HP target, trying to go in, but he does not have that level 4 yet, so there is no cutthroat and no way to go in to deal the damage. But again, Franco does not having the flicker might be a problem. He's taking a lot of damage, chunk low, and there's
Oh.
another shutdown onto him. That's 2 time already in just a minute and a half.
Yep, two that's already under Franco, and he's gonna be one of the most crucial members that are gonna be seeing so far. And it's not gonna be so hard for even Joseph to try to kill him. And I think the pressure into the mid lane coming out from the side of Tartarus is so worth it. Okay, Dusty is trying to go in. Oh,
The stun does not connect. Vader needs to be careful. Kyle, not Kyle, but Joseph will be there to take him down. And man, oh man, kill pressure already being built here from the side of Team Tartarus. They're not letting anything slide in the early game.
yeah, I think this is the reason why I don't really like Selena when there is a threat for assassin to come up onto the opponent's side. You are not, free to do anything or have the map presence. And in honest, Selena, if you don't have the map pressure, you're not really that worth it. And the arrows is gonna be always dot down, and it has to be pure mechanical skill where you have to come out just to try to be as useful as possible. Okay, level 5 already for Dusty here, but meanwhile for Joseph, he's still gonna try to take out onto the blue buff to have the level 5 again to try to contest onto the turtle, because if you look at the position so far for the side of the terrace, they are actually in good one.
And they're not really afraid of the stun so far. You can see, they're just walking right past it, just like it's, some kind of fly or something, right? And at this point, you can see the range really being taken advantage of, and Dusty Mizo being pressured into his own jungle by the blue, and this is just speaks trouble, because if this continues to go on, they might be just losing a lot more resources onto their own jungle. But hey there, you need to be careful. You're trying to go in too deep, and there is the win onto the back line, trying to flank onto their mage. Eden, that's taken down, did not have the flicker, and that's a double kill already. Oh my goodness, things are turning around.
Actually, we're seeing something that the Masa can do here into the early game, which we did not usually see on a Masa. He's definitely gonna go for the damage build, this guy. But okay, the thing is, actually, I think it was a bad call for Mugi to try to go look for a fight when he does not have the required mana, and glue consumes a lot of mana. So I think they have to be mindful of that too. But onto the top side though, I think Prime read this out that there is a threat here. The SOD will not be landing just yet, and a little bit safe onto the early stage.
The poke potential is definitely there, and Prime is all by himself taking a lot of damage. There's the key boost, but Moscow Innocent will be getting the shutdown, so that's a kill anyway. And I feel that's more pressure onto the top lane being built. And the rotation was not there yet, so I feel that's the fast maneuver the Fanny can offer into the game.
Yeah, and you know the clearance coming out from the Selena is not the best if you compare to the Tigreal plus the Farsa. So the rotation wise, if we talk about it, Tartarus is gonna be having the better chance in the rotation. So the pressure is definitely gonna be up, and we can see how much of a pressure they can put up into the goal side as well, because Prime hasn't been able to walk up, and he's dead once, and this is gonna be giving the time for Innocent here to try to have a great farm, even a lot of wave as well, but. Then again, the turtle is also gonna be up here. This is the Fredrin we are talking about, and if he lose onto the retribution here, I don't think Johan will be having the best time into the mid game too.
Definitely, and you can see Zohunt are the first to start the turtle, already chunking it low. There is the feather airstrike being used, and I think the turtle will be going to the side of. Oh wait, there are 2 kills already. Franco also being taken down, and that's a 1-for-2 trade going into the favor of Team Tartarus. But the turtle, I didn't see who had secured it, but I feel it was Zohunt for sure this time.
Yeah, it did. Johan secured the turtle already, so it was a level. He was level behind him, but still a very formidable. But then again, 2 kills given away just for 1 turtle. I don't think it's really worth it. But Gimme though.
Hey, he was just too close. He had to force the flicker out, and Kimi needs to be careful. He's getting the taunt. He gets a stun as well. Chunk low, and there's the kill onto him by Faden, and the stun this time does not connect. It had connect. They might go in once again, but Win taking the advantage of the rotation is going full in for the push, but there is Joseph trying to go for a 1v1 against him, taking a lot of damage. He will get down. Crazy damage coming in all from Win. He's on a spree. 3 kills already.
Yeah, can we actually see the build? Because I think he must have had already 1 full build to try to take down the Kimi, but top lane though. Okay, there we go. Thank you so much for that, but okay. He already got the heptasis, so that has to be the amount, that has to be the, the main source of the damage coming through for the Masa. Of course, the Thunderclap and a very mobile Kimi. Oh, look at that.
Oh. Hey, there's a hook, and there's also that bloody hunt onto Kimi, but there's an implosion. Try to turn things around. The feather airstrike not being there might be a problem, but the SOD does connect. 2 members taken down. Kimi trying to low. That's a 3 prime being punished. Dusty needs to be careful. There is a taunt, but he does not want to commit that appraisal strat yet. So they are again going in. This time he does commit it, and they're slow again. Fanny gets taken down. Win doing the magic. Glue onto the backline, but he's taking too many turret shots. Needs to be careful, but he might not pursue anymore. But look at whole laner very low, and again Win trying to just continue the fight, but it might be too long because the ultimate CD might be up now. But he again goes in onto Eden, and he is forced to fly around with his bird form, and they're not stopping anytime soon. There's a feathered airstrike onto Win. He's chunked low onto his last HP bar. Kimi again going with the implosion. This time he will be falling. Mugi is trying his best, but the bloody hunt will suppress him, and there is the SOD connecting, but nobody home. But look at the hook connecting, and that's another kill. 3-for-0. This time going in the favor of Zohunt, and they are also getting their hands onto the last turtle of the game.
Yeah, this is the messy kind of team fight we were talking about, with Johan have to their advantage and Tartarus when they did not have their position according to the book wise. It kind of struggled a little bit. Oh, look at that, another one.
Look at that. Too close though.
Purify. Yeah, it was too close forward. Imagine a hand trying to reach you out and it caught you, and you have the Purify on time. Eden, I think he was stopped a little bit, but yep, I cancel on to the ultimate here, so no ultimate for the Farsa as of now. And Johan, they are climbing back just a little bit, 99 kills onto the board, and just a little of 100 goal lead for the side of Johan. It will be easier to catch it down, but man, oh man, I think Win this time around, he's signing quite a lot because the way he rotates and the way he targets on people, he's fed also because he already got 2 items. He will be the threat that Tartarus doesn't want to face.
And now it's on the top lane trying to, in a 2v1 situation. But again, Dusty Mizo versus Joseph, a 1v1. Let's see who will
No
be
mana.
coming on top. But you can see a lot of damage being placed onto Joseph. He is out of energy, needs to be careful. But again, onto the mid lane, there's a fight breaking out. You can see the HP bars being low, and Kimi has already used the implosion, does not have the flicker, will be falling from the damage of Prime, but when falling on the top lane, he was trying for a 1v1, but the rotation of Joseph really made things turn around.
Yeah. That was the problem with the Fanny, right? The mobility, no, the mobility. What am I saying? The mobility that she has most of the time is like a damage version of Angela. You thought you are going 1v1 situation, and then the Fanny flies in and cut throats you, and you're dead. That's the situation for the Marsha here. Win has to be careful this time around. Look at Joseph.
Oh, Joseph, he's already low, but Faden, not Joseph was low, it was Faden who was low, but he will not get the shutdown he was looking for, but they get one. That's the fast mobility that you were just talking about, giving the advantage. He can just go in and out in a moment's free, and that's just putting more pressure on the map. And without Faden, it might be a bit difficult. The Lord already being chunked down from Innocent, and Fanny making the play, after pushing the top lane. That's the pressure, the macro play coming in from the Fanny as well.
Yeah, the macro play is definitely gonna be there. Look at that on mid side though. We need to see this.
Dusty Mizo taking a lot of damage. There is the Glue's ultimate trying to bring him back to the enemy side, but he's taking a lot of poke and he will be falling. He didn't get the kill, but that's a strong problem for the side of Team Zohunt, because you know why? They don't have a jungler, and without their jungler, they might not be able to contest for this Lord. But it's a 4v5 situation. They're still trying to go on. You can look at the position from Joseph. He's already in a place where he can actually go for the backline, but let's see if they want to continue this fight forward here, Debbie.
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think that Tartarus can just try to blitz down this Lord because Femi Problem is there. He does have the Bloody Hunt until Kimi gets the implosion right on. Oh, look at that, look at that.
Oh, 3-man implosion this time, and there is the feather there, strike there, so everything connects, and that's the maximum worth you can get from your toolkit. And just like that, they lost your Joseph, but I think they might be able to get the Lord. They have a lot of pressure, and Dusty Mizo is still there, but I don't think so. You might find a window to go in. You can see Faden trying to, get another angle for them to actually try to contest for this Lord, but it's already too late. Innocent will be shredding it down.
Yeah, the name being Innocent, and it just reminds me of the Innocent guy, right? Like from the Malaysia. He's on the Moscow.
SRG, yes.
Oh, I forgot the name. I almost said SDS. What I'm tweeting right now. But look at that traction pulse though. Damn, it was there. Okay, nothing much, right? This is a glue, man. He's not gonna be dead anytime soon unless you have a Faramis or a Vexana just trying to burst with the small minions that you have. And I think this time around, Johan are definitely into the back foot here because the Lord is taken down by the side of their turret. It's gonna be marching down to the bot lane. They are just trying to look for some gain onto the top lane. Win. With the passive coming out from Innocent, he isn't able to sustain that much because he's on a full damage. And I think Johan, with the the lack of clearance that they have, they cannot risk to lose another Lord because they can try to defend this Lord, but when the next Lord comes, it's gonna be so hard for them.
And you can see they're trying to style under the turret. Might not be a good call because he just lost a few HP bar right there. But again, the Lord is marching down the bot lane, and they have the siege. They have the pressure right now to go in. And you can see there's a hook connects onto the Kimi, and he is already chunked very low. But there's no kill yet. You can see a lot of skills being used. Prime will be the first of all. Joseph with the cutthroat, and Innocent being traded out on the backline. Win doing the magic double kill already. He's looking for a triple, but no, the damage from Eden will be careful enough to take him down, and the Lord will be defended successfully. Zohan, they have another hook on their prayer, but there is nothing they can do about it because that's a glue and you cannot burst him down so easily, can you?
Yeah, this is a glue, man. When you don't have the perfect counter for the glue, it's not gonna be the best hero to just try to... Oh, another hook, maybe?
They're
All
trying to
right.
go in again. You can see there is a lot of HP bars being chunked down, and there's the bloody hand onto Joseph, and he loses that immortality. But you can see his strength being
Oh, okay.
really choked, and there is the damage being enough for him to get taken down. And Zohunt, they're finally finding some trade onto the table. They were lacking behind, and right now they're getting the gold that they need to actually have a chance for a comeback.
Yeah, the problem with a Kimi into the goal lane in comparison to the Moskov is that she doesn't have the best potential of the clearance like the Moskov here. But oh, look at that! We have a Fect Tag release, a steadfast tank who leads the charge. His crowd control. Oh, I think everybody knows this. Asino, do you know this?
Yep.
Do you know this? I
I'm
don't know
sorry.
this.
I just figured out right now. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh
just
yeah,
joking
yeah.
around, guys.
Oh,
While you
okay.
said, that there's another stunt that connects onto Kimi, but there's the Iron Hook not following it up at the right time. But again, the hooks might be connecting, but even the stunts might connect, but I don't think so. They can actually take that, engage, because the
Mm.
follow up from the side of Team Tartarus is so
Oh,
good, and the late game damage is so high. But again, Win trying to make a play on the bot lane, he's caught
Joseph?
from the ultimate, and he's taking a lot of damage as well. And Innocent will be there to take him down. And you know what? This just reminds me of that. Luke from GigFam back in the day when he used to really spam
Oh,
that
look. Yeah.
Marsha, yes. So it just reminds me
Yes,
of an
yes.
Innocent versus Luke kind of matchup, because both are
Oh
trying
yeah,
really
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
And right now,
True,
there's
true,
a bloody hand out there with the Winter Crown, but the damage will be there. Kimi will be falling first. And then again, there is a trade of 2-for-1 so far, and the SOB does not connect. But family problem for family problem will be taken down. See, I'm already starting because the fight was so fast, and just like that, the wipeout already being there. And Tartarus, they took advantage of the momentum that they got, and just one spree was that there. And again, Win trying to defend it all. He is able to take one member
wait.
down. The waves are not cleared yet, and Innocent will be there, just free hitting that base and getting the first game score in their favor.
Yeah, you know what? Don't get the Kimi goal, guys. I'm joking. It's it's good, but against the Moscow who have a very good clearance, I don't really like a Kimi. And and he can play any other hero, right? For Prime here, it could have worked, but
Mhm.
we'll never know. We'll never know what they can do.
Hey, who might know? It might be Tami. So let's call him out. Let's hear his thoughts as well.
I guess, yeah, going for the early Kimmy quite early and deciding early might have been one of the reasons why Zohunt didn't end up doing quite well onto this game. And the Selena as well as the Franco combination, it was supposed to be having the advantage onto the early game, but unfortunately for the side of Team Zohunt, it didn't work out. The Franco, he already got taken down twice before 2 minutes